Oh, we're gonna have fun with that thumbnail.
Maybe slide it in.
We gonna get a little bit. I got this drink in my good. God!
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Split Screen Media Podcast. This is episode 30, which that's a pretty big deal. It's a big milestone. With us, as always, is my lovely co-host, Chris Blankenship.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. And with us again for like the bajillionth time is Joey Baden. Thank you for being on the show.
Of course. I think I'm just honorary co-host at this point.
You pretty much are. You've been on enough times to warrant that title. So we have a lot to talk about today. First thing I want to discuss, which is what I always love to discuss, is Pokemon. Pokemon, I think it was the Pokemon Company that released this game, right?
Yeah, it's like a Pokemon Company, Nintendo, Game Freak.
They
They're
have
all
something to do with it.
credited.
I know Tencent is the publisher, which is like the Chinese mobile game company. Either way, there's now a Pokemon MOBA, which is a multiplayer online battle arena game for the layman. It's called Pokemon Unite on the Switch, and it's gotten a lot of buzz recently. I think way more people are playing it than they thought were going to play it, including us. There's a lot of controversy surrounding it, but I kind of want to hear from you guys, like, just your general thoughts on the game, like what you think, just what you think about it.
I enjoy it. I've played, I don't know, maybe like 10, 15 matches. Not a lot, but like enough to like get my feet wet. I enjoy it a lot. It's not my favorite MOBA, like the style of it, and I can get into that later of why I think that. But I still think it's a solid game, especially since it's free, and we'll get into like the whole price and microtransactions and stuff, I'm sure. But for what you get out of it, I think it's a pretty good game, and it's a little bit of fun.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I haven't really played a MOBA since like Smite back on like the PC and or on Xbox, and it's kind of fun playing it again, and it's fun playing with the group and stuff like that. Definitely a lot more fun playing with friends than it is playing alone with it, as most of those online games are. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it as well. Just kind of getting into it, and Connor, I love the way you described it as like the kids like my first MOBA or whatever. Like it's like it's like a kid's version of one, but I really like that, and I really love the graphics in it. I know it's a weird thing to kind of comment on a MOBA because it's not the main thing, but I love that Pokemon is finally trying to do something different, and they're doing something different, and it's cool to see. Like, I think they actually showed it a little bit in the opening trailer where they show like they switched to like the different style of art basically before the game starts, which is really cool.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think what I was like baby's first MOBA or something like that, which isn't an insult at all. I actually think it's going to get a lot more people into that type of genre, including myself, because I don't like MOBAs generally. The only I played a little bit of Dota a long time ago, and then I played Smite, and neither of those I really enjoyed that much. Although going back, I might pick up Smite again, give it a try.
I really like Smite. Maybe we can just discuss. Yeah, I said I really like Smite. Maybe we can just debate that.
Yeah, and go. Again, I didn't really have enough like experience or information to really give like an official review of Smite or anything. Just my initial impressions, I didn't love it, but this is, I think, a lot more simple. So for anyone who's like maybe a little bit nervous, or you feel like you're not going to be skilled enough to jump right into Smite or Dota 2 or whatever, this is definitely a good stepping stone to that, I think.
For sure.
But yeah, regarding the controversy of this game, as I believe Critical called it, the most pay-to-win game ever made, which is pretty clear once you hop in. So basically what you're allowed to do is if you play the game enough, you can earn upgrades for items. I know they did this with Battlefront 2, where they were like, oh, we'll calculate how long it takes you to unlock everything. And for that game, it was like 1,000 hours or something. Like that's how long you have to play it to unlock all of it. They haven't done that with Pokemon Unite yet. But it does take a long time to level up your stuff if you decide not to pay for it. And you can immediately jump in and spend $200 and then upgrade all the items you need off the bat, and it gives you a massive advantage over people who haven't. It's not like, oh, a little bit of a bump or a cosmetic thing. Like, it is a huge difference to gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Those item enhancers really should not have been able to be bought. Like, that really should have been an earned currency type thing. And even then, like, it's not a super great thing to have. As somebody just played the game more, just gets to be better at it than a new person. It's a really good way to make new people not want to play the game. If they start the game, day one, they jump in and they get immediately murdered by somebody that's either pay to win, or they've played a lot and they've earned the same amount of stuff as the pay to win people, and they're like, all right, well, this game sucks. I can't do anything.
Yeah, no, it's it's funny because I agree with you, and I don't think they should ever have that feature in games where you can equip things, like in online games at least, where you can equip things to certain characters to make them better, to improve their stats.
Yeah,
for something that you're playing.
Always be cosmetic. Always be cosmetic.
Always be cosmetic. I totally agree. And it seems like companies keep having to relearn this. Battlefront 2, which I mentioned earlier, is the perfect example of that. Like, Overwatch knocked it out of the park first try.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why that model just isn't adapted over and over again, because their cosmetics, or their loot boxes, are purely cosmetic, so they don't affect gameplay at all. And this is like the polar opposite of that.
And they still make a bunch of money. Like, people still will buy like a bunch of loot boxes and stuff like that because the game is so great that they're like, yeah, I want to get this skin for my favorite character, and they do a really great job of that.
And can you imagine how much they'd make on the cosmetics for Pokemon? I mean,
yeah.
Like,
and they have that in Pokemon Unite. Like, they have a couple of like the Snorlax outfits and stuff like that. So it's not like they don't have cosmetics in there too that you could buy, but just they also put in stuff that changes core gameplay mechanics, which is, like you said, definitely a no-no that a lot of companies need to learn.
Yeah, they're still trying to figure that one out, I guess. But, like, I mean, even if they got more specific with the cosmetics too, like whenever Squirtle gets released in the game, like you do a Squirtle Squad one where he's got the sunglasses, or like you do a Mewtwo one where he's got the crazy armor on from the movie. Like, there's a ton of stuff. There's, like, limitless possibilities when it comes to the cosmetics. So if they focus more on that and then they, patch up the game to where it's not as pay to win, I think it'll be even more fun.
For sure. And even then, like, even as it is right now, I'm having fun with it. It does suck, like, when we're playing against somebody and we're like, oh, okay, well, that person clearly bought some stuff because of how much damage they did this early on. Like, you can kind of tell who's got mommy's credit card and who doesn't.
Yeah, this game needs to be patched for sure. Not even counting, like, all the items you can add, just talking about, like, the base characters. Like, some of the characters are really, really terrible, and the ones that are good are, like, way overpowered.
Right.
I think they need to make the overpowered characters harder to play. That way there's a skill. Like, if your skill is high enough, you can really dominate with those better players.
Yeah, this is what they have, like Absol, I believe. If you look at Absol in the store, it says it's like expert level play. It's a really good character, but it's really tough to play because you kind of get in, you do a crit, and then you get out. It's the basic mechanic of it, but it's a little harder for people to get used to. Whereas Zororia is run in, spam buttons, and leave, and that's a lot easier for people to do.
Yeah, and it's the best character.
And it's, really strong. That really all the speedsters, but
yeah, there's a lot of broken elements in this game, but it does beg the question about whether this game will maybe change the future of Pokemon as a whole, gameplay wise. So I'm wondering if maybe in some of the like, I know Pokemon Arceus is going to have a more open world feel to it, but the combat looks pretty similar. But I'm wondering in maybe, the next 5-10 years of Pokemon, if we get stuff that's more, it's not as turn-based action, but it's like just spamming attacks like this game is.
right.
I wonder if we'll see that change.
I hope that they keep the turn-based thing going, at least for the base games. But I also want to see, like I think you're right that Arceus seems to be kind of more like hack and slash, and I think it'd be really fun to see that mechanic played out. But I hope that doesn't take over the main game. As much as I complain about them using the same formula over and over again, if it wouldn't feel like a Pokemon, like if they made whatever it's going to be, whatever the next, It used to be freaking gems and colors. I don't know what they're gonna do next. The letters.
I don't know. I mean, I think really what they need to do is just turn Pokemon into XCOM. I think they just need you to have an arena. It's still turn-based, but you can actually move around the battlefield, select your attacks. Depending on where you are elevation-wise, that'll affect how much damage you do. Again, there's still types. You know, water is effective against fire, all that shit. But that's, I think, really the future of the series.
Speaking of that, yeah, you guys have seen, or hopefully maybe seen the Yakuza Last Dragon. Have you seen like, how the gameplay works with that? Where it's turn-based, but like fluid turn-based, for lack of better words, where like time kind of stops. But like when you go, like you're in a area, and like if you go to like tackle somebody, you've tackled them, and now you move when you went to go do this attack, and now people have to either turn to face you or they can't see you anymore because of your movement. And it's still turn based, but it's like it feels a bit more quote unquote realistic. And that'd be a really cool way for Pokemon to go, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, it looked like you wanted to say something.
I was gonna say, Connor, I saw you playing Mario and Rabbids, which is kind of like the XCOM style. Is that where you got the idea from?
Well, that's honestly something. I mean, a little bit, yeah, definitely. But that's something that I've been wanting to see Pokemon do for a while, is have some more options other than just it being a rock paper scissors simulator. Because really, all it is just they throw out something, you find the thing that's effective against that, you put that out there, and then you attack. It's just pressing A over and over again. And I'd like to see a little bit more strategy going forward. I think Pokemon Go started out, it's on the right track for that kind of combat. Obviously, that wouldn't be okay in like a full-fledged AAA game, but something like that. And I think a good compromise would be the XCOM style, where you get maybe 2 or 3 Pokemon out on the field, or you can do one-on-one battles, but they just each take their turn. They can move around. They can kind of strategize. There's things in the environment that can affect their statuses. So like maybe there's different biomes in an arena. So like you can run into the frost one, and then if you have a frost Pokemon or an ice Pokemon, it'll do better attacks. I mean, there's endless possibilities for something like that.
I was thinking like the classic video game barrel thing, where like there might be a barrel of acid that'll poison you, or I don't know, a shock barrel that paralyzes you, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, you're on the ground, and like at the end of both the turns, like lava starts shooting up from the ground and it can hurt you.
Yeah.
Including, because Pokemon's always included the environment in the combat. Like if you're in a desert area, it'll be like, oh, the storm is kicking up, and then some moves don't work as well. So they've always done it, but
yeah, and some Pokemon have the moves that, like, is it Sandstorm is a move that like kicks up a sandstorm, or icy rain? I don't know. Yeah, heavy rain, something like that. Blizzard is maybe, but they always have those kind of environment move sets that can boost your Pokemon. Like I think it's like if it's a sandstorm, it boosts certain ground type Pokemon or something like that. So you can get like a small like stat boost based off of it. That'd be cool.
We need to go to Game Freak with our idea right now. But I think, let alone, I think this is just a fun game in general, but it does excite me for like the future of Pokemon, what they're maybe going to do next.
I do. I will say that it doesn't feel like a Pokemon game as much because it doesn't have the turn-based thing, and it does have like the open battle arena, like where you can move around and stuff like that, and also it doesn't have type effectiveness. So like a grass type Pokemon, it does equal damage to every other type Pokemon, which is probably for the better because it's a 5-on-5 and you could really get destroyed in a lane on a certain matchup, but
it would be impossible to balance that.
Yeah, there's no way. So
at least not until there's more options too, because there's only like 20 Pokemon right now, and I mean, there's like 3 of them are electric, 2 of them are electric, I think. So
yeah.
I think they could maybe do something with that eventually, but that wouldn't be until I think there's a lot more characters to choose from. I mean, we're about to get Gardevoir. Added, but that'll be the first fairy?
I think so.
I don't know. Is Eldegoss half fairy? Does she have a fairy type?
I think she's grass.
solely
Yeah.
grass. Yeah.
I think just grass.
Wigglytuff might be. I think they might have updated Jigglypuff to be.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
so. Yeah.
That's fairy now, I think.
What Pokemon do you guys want to see added?
As many as they want, really.
Do you have like
I'd like to-
do you have a
Baby.
favorite?
I definitely want to see more starters for each gen, like my boy Mudkip. And then legendaries, I think would be fun too.
I think
Want to see Metagross?
so. I don't know if they'll
Metagross.
do legendaries or I mean we'll see. They have Zapdos, which is like a pseudo legendary, as like the monster in the middle that you fight for a big old bonus.
Yeah, if they don't add legendaries to the actual game, then I think they should at least have it randomize the Pokemon in the middle so it's not Zapdos every time.
That would be
Right, and they
cool.
might do that. There's going to be more maps too. As you can see during the quick battles, they rotate through the 3 maps. Right now, they only have 1 map for like the 5v5, but that'll of course get updated too.
Yeah, they could do like a 1-lane map with like Mewtwo in the middle or something like that. That'd be cool.
Mm.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential with this game. I just think are people still going to be playing it by the time all this new stuff comes out?
I think it's definitely going to go down. Like with the Pokemon Go hype, like it's free. A lot of people got in on it because it's Pokemon, and then it kind of died down. Like as it kept going, I wonder if this will suffer the same fate.
Yeah, probably quicker, I'd say, than Pokemon Go, because Pokemon Go was such a phenomenon. Like, I mean, it really, like, this game, people who own a Switch are going to download it, but that game, it was like everyone who had a phone, which is everybody.
Yeah.
I was
Like,
just gonna say,
download.
yeah. If you had a phone, you could play the
Pokemon
game.
Go sometimes.
And that was one of my favorite summers ever, because it was just like walking around, meeting new people.
It was the opposite of the COVID summer for sure.
Oh yeah.
It was the exact opposite of the COVID summer.
So you people be out in parks and like I imagine like the maintenance people for the park are like, why are people here right now? What are you guys doing? Why are you outside? Didn't y'all stop when you got like video games? Like for video gaming, but outside.
But outside. I remember the day they did the Squirtle event. It was like the Squirtle Community Day where you could get shiny Squirtle and sunglasses Squirtle. And it was right by, there's a spot on the water right near where I live. It's kind of like a park, but it's by the water. And it was the most filled I've ever seen it. And I've seen concerts there. And it was the most filled I've ever seen it there with just people trying to catch Squirtle. And it was like one of my favorite days just because it was so much fun. Like, you know, running around and I was with my brother that day, but we were like meeting up with people and we met new people and we like joined groups and we fought a bunch of legendary Pokemon too. Like it was really fun.
Yeah.
I'm sad that people don't play that game anymore because it's still, you know, just as fun, if not better now.
Yeah, then they got battling and stuff added into it too. And the Team Rocket stuff, all that.
Yeah. I don't know how they expect you to get legendaries anymore because no one's playing. So they're like, "Oh, well, there's a new legendary here." I'm like, "No one touches this game. Like, I can't catch it."
Yeah,
Do you
I was like, I
need-
can't take on the 5-star raid by myself, but I don't have any friends that
I
are
was
gonna
gonna say,
play with me.
I haven't really played it that much, so I was like, do you need a lot of people to take down a legendary?
So there's different tiers for the raid. So it goes 1 to 5 stars, and for 5 stars, you probably need minimum like, depending on your level, like 5 people, like 5
Jeez.
to 8.
I imagine there's probably like at least a community because they added one thing they've added because of COVID, I believe, was the remote raid passes where you could join in from afar, I would imagine there's probably like Discord communities and stuff like that where someone like, hey, there's a Mewtwo near me, and they just pass the little Pokemon code out, and anybody who gets in can go battle it. So I imagine it's still pretty easy to do legendaries if you're part of that community, but if you're not part of that community and you're just walking around playing it, you're never going to get the new legendaries, like myself.
Yeah, I know Dialga and Palkia are there right now because those new games are about to come out.
Mm.
Speaking of which, actually, this wasn't a planned topic, but it is something I kind of wanted to bring up with you guys. Did you see how much better the Gen 4 remakes look in that new... It wasn't a new trailer for the actual games, but it was during like the Switch OLED reveal trailer, and they showed off new gameplay for it. And essentially it was like the game looked entirely different from before. Because I know everyone was complaining about the art style of that game, and they were complaining about how lazy it looks, which it did. It looked really bad. But the new version, it's not perfect, but it's like night and day compared to how it used to.
I don't think I paid any attention to it. I was too busy laughing at the OLED Switch. But...
I'm trying to find it. It didn't look that much better in my opinion, but I'm trying to find it so I can like definitely compare.
I sent it in the Discord. I don't know where I sent it.
I'm trying to find it. I have no idea where it's at.
Yeah. If you look at, you probably type it on Google like Gen 4 remake graphics updates or something, but essentially the color palette was a lot softer. Before it was like really harsh greens and harsh browns, and this kind of looked more like a watercolor pastel thing. So imagine, you know, I'm trying to think of a comparison. The only thing I could think of is that game Okami with the wolf that kind of had that sort of art style. But it looks a little bit more like that. The character models were more detailed. It looked way better and actually made me feel like I want to get that game, especially if it has multiplayer with the underground stuff like we used to do, Joey.
Oh, yeah.
That would definitely make me want to buy it.
So, Chris, I just sent you it's got like a before and after for each of the updates and stuff.
I see.
Actually, to be fair, the after looks a lot worse to me.
That's what I was thinking.
It's like the after looks bad.
So you can tell the graphics are a little bit better, but it looks like fuzzy to me. I don't know.
It looks like the top is it should be the after. What the heck?
No, the top. So it looks more vibrant up top, but it's also like it's more pixelated, and it doesn't look. It looks kind of like a PS2 graphics. Like you can see how the grass is separate from everything else. Like it looks like different things that they put in place. Whereas the bottom one, even though it's a little more faded, it looks like one cohesive thing. They added depth of field. I don't know. You can tell like he's further away from the Pokemon and stuff. Like the backpack has a lot more detail. I remember.
Yeah, I like that third one in the was it the or whatever it's his clothing graphic changes. That backpack looks really cool.
Oh yeah, they've added like a little handle and zippers and stuff.
Yeah, and apparently they're changing up the overworld art style too, because people hated like that little chibi figure. It looked like the My Sims figure when you're walking around. So apparently they're changing that up too.
I'll be honest, I like the before.
I'm kind of with you. I kind of like the before though. I think the vibrant looked a little bit better. You're right, it's a little bit more choppy, but like the other one just looks so bland.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Wow. Okay.
After it looks bad. I was like, update. I couldn't call it a betterment.
I think I did. Whenever you put this in here, I think I like kind of shit on it. Like this. Like,
see, that was interesting. I couldn't tell if you were shitting on it or if it was like a serious comment.
No, I think I didn't at that time. I definitely now. I don't think that the after is better. It almost looks. It just doesn't look as crisp to me. And yeah, like the grass looks better and like the flowers look better and there's more detail. But as far as like what's more aesthetic to me, I gotta go with the more vibrant colors. I can just like it's almost like the colors kind of blend, like the softness of the grass. Like I'm looking at the grass in the hill. The softness of the grass kind of blends in the background with the brown of the hill in the after, whereas in the before it's like very distinctly different. I think
that's interesting. I really like that. So this might just fall into a personal preference thing, because I think the one on the bottom clearly took longer to like it's the more finished product, but I think now it's just a preference thing for your art style taste, because like I like the pastel washed out look because I think it'll run better on the Switch overall, and you can get kind of, you know, a more cartoonized style that looks better without it looking like shit on the one above where like the grass is all pixelated and choppy and stuff.
I'm not going to deny that there's more detail in the after, because there definitely is more detail, and I think it is the art style. I'm looking at the battle animation, and I'm looking at the grass, and I just prefer the sharper edges of the grass, as to where if you look at the after, it's more cartoony, like very round shapes. The wind is kind of the same, but
yeah, for anyone watching, I mean, I probably have already thrown up a picture on screen, but yeah, you'll see the before. The before is going to be on top, and the after is going to be on the bottom. I didn't know this was going to be so hotly debated. So yeah, if you're watching this and you have feelings on this, like, feel free to let us know which one you like better.
For sure.
I'm definitely an after guy, but it sounds like so you guys are even less excited now for this game.
If I'm 100% honest, I wasn't excited at all, and that probably hasn't changed at all, if I'm being honest.
I wasn't really following this game, the remakes. I don't have much intention of getting them. I don't know.
See, that's interesting because now that affects my excitement for this game too. Because one of the things I was excited about was assuming you guys were gonna get it, and then we were all gonna be able to do the base multiplayer, like the underground base system where you can like build your own secret shit. So maybe I won't get it either now if you guys aren't getting it.
I might, if you're gonna get it, I might get it, but I would say that there's not a lot of hype coming from me.
Well, I'm definitely gonna get it because I'll have my brand new OLED Switch. At that point, I caved everybody. I bought one.
Nice.
Despicable.
But I wanna defend myself. I don't have my own Switch right now, so upgrading from nothing to this made more sense than getting the older version of the Switch when I can pay $50 more and get a better version.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
I think we came to that conclusion where it's not really an upgrade if you already own a Switch, but if you need one and don't have one, it's probably the better model to go for. So
yeah, no, if you have a Switch, do not buy this. It's a waste of money. But I don't have one, so and there's a bunch of stuff like that, and obviously Metroid Dread and the open world Pokemon game that I want to be able to just have my own Switch for. So this felt like, I was like, I could pay $300, get the old model with the shittier battery too, because it would be like the Gen 1 model because it's all they're selling right now. Or I could try and pre-order the new one. And I followed, for anyone who doesn't follow Wario64 on Twitter or like check his stuff, his Twitter is amazing. All he does is post like video game deals, and he posts stock updates. So, like, if you're trying to find something on sale or whatever, like, check his Twitter because he has like one of the best like pages on Twitter, online thing. And there weren't a lot of trailers that came out from that. There was like a couple here and there, but less than I thought. But one of them that came out was for the new Blade Runner animated series, called Blade Runner Black Lotus, and it does not look good. It is rough. It's funny because all the comments were basically saying the same thing underneath the trailer, and sometimes that makes you feel better. Like you're like, oh, thank God, everyone else thinks this is shitty too. But have you guys like watched that trailer?
I have. I'm not really like super excited for the Blade Runner anime. I probably wasn't gonna watch it, but I got tipped off to how bad the trailer was because it was so bad.
Yeah, I'm going to throw it up on screen right now, but for anyone who hasn't seen it, it looks a lot like, I don't know, like the animation styles of like Jimmy Neutron and Barnyard from like the 2005 era of Nickelodeon. It looks really bad. Not to mention, like the art style is trash, but it seems to not understand what Blade Runner is.
Yeah,
because the whole show is like, or both of the movies are very like methodically paced, like really slow burns, and it's not really about the action or the the shooting or the whatever. It's about world building. The whole thing is about like an atmosphere that's sort of that you dive into and sort of explore while you're watching. It's very much a passive experience, but this was like people were kicking katanas out of hands and like shooting each other. And while like this really shitty rock song played over it, I'm like, they don't understand what this is at all.
It looked more like a cyberpunk anime, honestly.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunately not a comment. Or a compliment.
Yeah. No, it's not. Which is also getting an anime, by the way.
Yeah.
That's not coming out for a while, probably longer now. But yeah, it looked just like a cyberpunk type thing, but it didn't look like it was in the Blade Runner universe.
Yeah, like I'll admit, I thought some of the fight scenes looked kind of cool. Like there was like when they were showing some of those, but it didn't seem like it was Blade Runner-y. I know they had to kind of like make it a little bit. Like I feel like an anime kind of has to be kind of exciting, has to have those cool fights and stuff like that. But at a certain point, if the medium doesn't match the setting, don't make the thing.
Yeah, like I don't know why you. This is especially disappointing to me because they had an animated Blade Runner short for the theatrical release of 2049. Like on the Blu-ray, it's called Blade Runner Blackout, and it's like a 15-minute video, and it's awesome. It's like this great 2D animated style. It explains some of the events leading up to Blade Runner 2049 to give you context. This, I don't know. They said it was like 2032 for this show or something. So it was something like that, but it seems like she's a replicant and she's on the run, but there's other people that are helping her, but she's like killing a bunch of people. I have no fucking idea what they're trying to do with this.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Blade Runner because I haven't seen the movies. Maybe I should. But I mean, objectively, just looking at it, the animation and the art style is what makes me not give a shit about this. It's a 3D. It's like 3D. It's almost like, I think I described it earlier as like a video game cutscene from like 2005.
Yeah, no, that's spot on.
Like their mouths barely move as they're talking. I don't know. It's pretty bad.
This to me is the difference between, again, kind of going back to the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes. It's a difference between the animation being bad and the animation being not your preference. So like the new Marvel What If series, I don't think that animation is bad. It's just not my preference. Like I look at that animation, I'm like, I really don't like that art style, but I can see that a lot of work went into it because it's still kind of that like 3D cell shaded thing. This is not that. This just looks bad. This looks like really lazy. Like they didn't, and maybe it's because I know Blade Runner is kind of niche and they didn't have a lot of money to spend on it, but I don't know why they would even put it. If the other anime that was already made for this was 2D, why would you not go 2D again? Like why would you change the art style? That makes no sense to me.
Are you talking about the short?
Yeah, because the short that came on the Blu-ray was 2D animation. So for them to be like, hey, this takes place in the same world and it's going to be the same kind of, creative medium, then why would they choose to make it 3D animation? That would be like if you were watching Toy Story and halfway through it switched to 2D. Like, it wouldn't make any sense.
Right.
Well, I don't know if that's the greatest argument. I mean, the movies are live action, right? And so you have a short that's 2D. Why can't you have a TV show that's 3D? If it was, if it was done well enough.
Yeah, I guess that's the biggest thing is that I don't think it looks very good in general, regardless of the type of animation style. I guess my thing is like, the films are the films. Those are shot live action. Those are, and then the cartoons are the cartoons. So it seems like you would want to keep that consistent with the other cartoon that's already out. Again, going back to the Toy Story thing, if Toy Story 4 had entirely been 2D, would that not have thrown you off from seeing the 3D characters for the other three movies?
Yeah, I think it would. I don't know if Blade. I mean, I haven't seen these again, but I can assume that the Blade Runner short doesn't set the precedent for 2D animation, but I could be wrong. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly not as well known, so I think they were just banking on the fact that people may not know a lot about Blade Runner, and that might be what this show is trying to do. Like, we know that you haven't seen these movies because only like 3 people have. Like, we're gonna make our own thing, and it's not really gonna fall in line with that. But to me, it just seems like it's pleasing no one. You're not pleasing fans of people who've never seen it, but they're like, oh, that animation looks bad. And you're not pleasing hardcore fans because you're like, wow, this doesn't look anything like a Blade Runner property. So really, you're making a show for no one.
Right.
No, I don't think that's entirely true. I think it panders pretty well to the blind.
They're gonna love it.
You think they'll have a braille version? Just rubbing this.
They're just touching it. They're like, God, this sucks.
They can still listen to it. They're not, deaf.
That might be the ideal way of doing it, to be honest. Speaking of shitty visual effects, let's talk about good visual effects. Let's talk about Lucasfilm. Because they made a move that I have only seen happen like 2 or 3 times in the industry as a whole. But basically, they hired a YouTuber by the name of, what was it, Chris?
Shamook. I might be butchering the pronunciation, but
I think it's no, that sounds right. I think it's Shamook. He on his YouTube channel basically uses deepfake technology, which for anyone who doesn't know allows you to put a face onto a different face, sort of superimpose it onto there using deepfake technology, which is why it's called that. But they hired him to come work for their studio because he had done a lot of deepfakes on the Disney properties. So there's a video of him fixing the face of Luke Skywalker from The Mandalorian. Spoilers. Like the face that they originally showed does not look good, and he makes it look, I think, infinitely better.
The same thing with Tarkin, right? From
yeah.
one.
He did Tarkin, and then he did Clue from Tron Legacy. And that one was really shocking because Clue does not look good. And as much as I love that movie, it does not look good. And he made it look so much better.
RDJ from Ultron. Ultron's really youngified RDJ.
Oh, Civil War.
Civil War, yeah.
Yeah, when they show the young version of him, he might has. Are you saying he has done that, or you'd like to?
I'm curious if he has, or if he hasn't, if he will.
I don't know. I had only seen like those 3 on his channel, but he did such a good job that I guess he got the attention of LucasArts, and they were like, "Yeah, we're going to hire you to work in our visual effects department, and you're going to help us develop, the next couple TV shows, like, be a visual effects supervisor, I guess," which is really cool because he does great work.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome. I actually saw the Tron video without even, before I even heard this news. It's actually, I think I saw it on Reddit because it was the only video I had seen on his channel. I still don't think it looks great, but it's like the Clue deep fake, but it looks a lot better, and I'm glad that Lucasfilm sees his his skills and are bringing him on the team.
Yeah, we have to think too, like for that video, he's working with the 10-year-old crappy footage that they had. Like the visual effects for that movie were locked off, so how Clue's face looks is how it looks. So he has to go in and use that to replace with the new face, and like for what he had available to him, I think he did a great fucking job. I mean, imagine if he had like the raw footage he could go back in and fuck around with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was gonna mention as well, I'm not sure what his personal setup was, but he probably just had a personal PC. But when he goes on to work, he might get animating computers that are thousands and thousands of dollars, and if he gets a bigger budget computer, he can probably do an even better job now too. So hopefully that means the next time the Star Wars or whoever does a youngify or a throwback for somebody who's dead, like if they end up bringing back Carrie Fisher as Leia at some point, hopefully they'll have him do it and it'll look a little better.
Yeah, it was interesting because I think a lot of people were complaining about that Mandalorian reveal because they were like, oh, how it looked ruined it. Like no matter how, like, oh, it's Luke Skywalker, blah blah blah, but like that was not Luke Skywalker. That was a weird, like, fucked up face of a different man. And it was very jarring. It took me out of it immediately. Were you guys able to like look past that, or was it like sort of rip you out of the experience type moment?
I was able to look past it. I think I'm pretty good about looking past some of the things like that. Like I'm more like oh, okay, that's like Luke Skywalker. Like that's kind of cool. Like that's
Yeah.
I can definitely see why it can be jarring though.
I think it would have been cooler if they didn't show it. Like they didn't have to show Luke. I think they put too much into the reveal when it could have just been R2. It could have just been the gloved hand and you could have just heard Mark Hamill's voice, and he leaves the hood on, you never see his face, and he just leaves. It's all I needed. I didn't like. They played his theme, so you already knew it was him. You know, like if they just teased it but never confirmed it necessarily, I think that would have been better than the crappy footage they showed. But at the same time, I still really liked it, and it was really cool to see him coming back, because that's not something that most of us ever thought we'd ever see again, because Mark Hamill, unfortunately, looks like Mark Hamill now. He doesn't look like he did when he was fucking 20 or 30.
I don't think Disney is one to do that, though. I think the face reveal was 100% a plan to go. You know,
they don't do a whole lot of subtlety anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, they weren't gonna tease that one out or anything. I mean, from a story beat too, I don't love the idea of him being in that show, because that show is supposed to be very small scale, like little pockets, little stories in the Star Wars universe, and having him show up, I was like, really, Luke Skywalker again?
Yeah.
But
we're away from the Skywalkers.
Yeah, Joey Burt actually made a really interesting point on this show, though, and it really it was something I hadn't thought about when we were doing our old Mandalorian episode. But he was like, at least when they brought back an old character into the new Disney era of Star Wars, it didn't ruin that character. He was like, Luke Skywalker is still Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian. Like, that didn't mess with his character, it didn't change anything. It was still very much like the original trilogy and kept the spirit of who he was. And he was like, which is more than I can say for any of the movies that have come out.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a really interesting point, and I totally agree with him.
For sure.
But yeah, I think that's really cool that they did something like this. It reminds me of I'm not going to say they're still not struggling, but the people who make the Sonic the Hedgehog games, they went on a streak of 3D games that were absolutely terrible. And during that time, a lot of people online were emulating the Sonic games and then creating new levels, like adding mods to it. And there was one, it was called like Sonic Plus or something like that. And it was made by just one guy. And Sega saw that, and they saw how much people loved it, and they hired him, and he ended up making Sonic Mania, which is still like one of the most highly regarded Sonic games of the past 5 years. So it's really nice to see companies recognize talent online, and they're like, hey, you really like our stuff, you do a good job of it, come work for us. And I'm like, that's such a great idea.
And then if you do that with Nintendo, you just get a cease and desist.
Yep, that was the next point I was going to bring up.
It's like, I already get pieces of crap company like them.
No, Nintendo.
Like, hey, I know you can probably do what we do better, but we're gonna sell it, no matter how good or bad we do.
Yeah, no, Nintendo do not like their fans at all.
No.
I've never seen a company hate its customers more than Nintendo.
Yep.
At least vocally hate. Like, EA keeps it under wraps at least, but Nintendo is like, no, fuck you.
Yeah, and Activision just hates their employees.
Oof.
Oh yeah. I was gonna try and avoid talking about that.
Boop.
If you don't know what we're talking about, it's a very fucked up situation, and I don't think we're qualified to discuss that kind of thing here. But yeah, look it up. Activision Blizzard, they're going through the shitter right now.
Yeah. And apparently they're doing a walkout on Friday.
Yeah, all the employees are gonna stage
today.
walkouts.
Today, when this video goes up.
Oh yeah, today. You don't know when we recorded this.
I have a question about the deepfake thing for you guys.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a controversy because you can make like anybody, not just anybody. I mean, this guy's really good at his job. I don't want to, discredit it, but deepfake technology, you can learn it, and you can make deepfakes of anybody and make videos of anybody and put it over, like, if I recorded something and then I deepfaked like a politician on my face, I could kind of make a video that looks like this politician saying something that I scripted. And so you go to Facebook, you go to Reddit, or you go to some other social media, and there's all these deepfakes, and you can't discern, because that's the thing of a deepfake, it's really hard to tell it apart from an actual video. Do you think that some people, well, I'm not going to say do you think, some people have called for banning of it. Do you think that's a good idea or not? it kind of ties into like the campaign of like trying to stop spread of misinformation.
Yeah. I have no idea. I really don't like. I don't even really know how to feel about it, because on one hand, the practical application of that technology is kind of amazing. What they're able, I mean, like what this guy was able to do on his YouTube channel and how it benefited his life in a pretty major way. But the technology itself is amazing, let alone, you know, how people are using it. But the technology is incredible. But there is a big problem, like you said, with people spreading misinformation. There was the whole thing with, you know, everything happening with porn. That was a very big, you know, people were taking people's heads and putting them on other people performing sexual acts, which obviously is not okay. So, I mean, it's really interesting, because I don't know if it should be banned, but like maybe there's regulations that could be put on it. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I feel like banning it would only take it like if you're banning it, you're only taking it away from the people that are using it for the right reasons, right?
I
Like
think
if you're gonna use it for a wrong reason, you're gonna have it whether or not it's banned or not banned, right?
I think it was more along the lines of certain sites are banning it. So like, I don't know if
Reddit
they
banned it for a while, didn't it?
Yeah,
I think,
that's
like, around when it first came out, right? It was like deepfake is not allowed on our website.
Yeah, that's more what I was saying. Like we'll say sites like Reddit or Facebook, like those are the ones who are, you know, these private companies banning it from their platforms. Not necessarily like a blanket ban, like you can't use deepfake technology anywhere in the country or state or whatever, but more so sites banning it. You know, because like I could deepfake Trump or Biden or whoever and say something way out of line for what they normally say, and how do you tell that it's not them or that it is them, you know?
But usually you can still tell. I mean, it's not like it's a perfect technology. They still, like, the mouth doesn't exactly line up sometimes and things like that. It does, you can get it look pretty close and enough to trick the naked eye, but I think
it's for people who aren't tuned into that world. Like if they wouldn't be able to be like, oh, that's a deep fake video, or oh, that's CGI, or
yeah, like if you go, like, let's just say you show it to like your grandmother or something like that who's maybe not technologically savvy, she'll be like, that looks like it's the person, and you know.
Well, that's.
But if you show it to like a younger person, like, yeah, that looks like garbage.
Where's my grandma from?
Well, I would almost say that you know, not a lot of people are like very technically savvy, and they might be susceptible to this kind of thing.
That's happened already. I saw like when deepfake was sort of first came out. I think it was maybe 2017. I think when it was big, 2018. But there were tons of videos out where people were confused about if it had actually happened. The election was kind of a big thing too. I know there was a lot of fake videos coming out there. And yeah, I think for the most part, though, Chris, like you were saying, I guess Reddit has banned it. I know I read an article saying all the porn sites had banned it too. So any video using that type of technology was going to get taken off. So I think a lot of the problem areas have already been pruned.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't mean it's not happening somewhere else.
Yeah. I just think it's, you said something, I don't know what triggered it in my head, but you said something a couple minutes ago. It was like, we don't need more conspiracy theories of people being like, oh, that's a deep fake, or that isn't a deep fake, when really it's the opposite. And
yeah, I mean, we're sort of in an era of, I think we're more behind the scenes of stuff like that than we've ever been before. People are really excited to know how something was made, or they want to know the intricacies of every little detail of something. That's why like behind the scenes stuff for movies is so big right now. You know, people are smarter about the technology for stuff like that than they've ever been in the past. So, you know, but to answer your question, I really don't know. I don't know what they should do about this. It's kind of uncharted waters.
Yeah, it is a new technology. I wonder how you tell, like, if a video has been deepfaked or not. Like, if you can run like a
website algorithms tell, you mean?
Yeah, like how does Facebook's deepfake monitoring system tell?
I think usually they're labeled. So like all the ones that are labeled are like, oh, this is, you know, this person deep faked over. Most of the time there's some kind of tag related to it, or they can search the comments of like, this is a deep fake, this is a deep fake, and then it'll automatically tag it and delete it. But yeah, I'm sure there are some videos that are just still out there, or there's probably dedicated sites that have all of these clips or whatever on them where it's perfectly fine to do so. We'll see, I guess.
Apparently, there's an algorithm that can use blinking. Apparently, they can detect blinking is the quickest way. A healthy adult human blinks somewhere between every 2 and 10 seconds, and a single blink takes 1/10 to 4/10 of a second. But deepfakes aren't quite able to master the perfect timing of blinking. So apparently, blinking is the easiest way to tell if something's deepfake or not, is what the internet says.
2 to 10 seconds is a wide margin.
Yeah. 10 seconds without blinking is a long time. Now that we're talking about it, though, I feel like I'm doing it a bunch. It's like when someone tells you, like you're now breathing manually or whatever.
Yeah, now you're focusing on it.
Yeah, you're focusing on it. It's that same kind of thing. Yeah, I think that was it. Do we want to go into recommendations? What time are we at?
Probably at like 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. We still got some time then. Well, since we have a little bit of extra time, do you guys want to talk about the new Lil Nas X video?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, so he released a new song, a new single, and video that went along with it called Industry Baby. And the whole premise is that he added like a little prelude video too, which shows him going to Montero jail because of the sneakers that he tried to sell. Which I guess for anyone who doesn't know, he like came up with these mock Nike sneakers that like had it was like his blood in it or something, right?
Yeah, it's like a drop of blood, and they were like satanic or something like that. A lot of different references to Satan and stuff.
And he was threatening to get sued by Nike because they were not official shoes, and now he's like out here joking about it, which I think is like hilarious.
For reference, he did get sued. It's not like they were threatening to sue him. They did sue him.
Did they sue him or the company that made the sneakers?
I think they sued the company that made the sneakers.
I thought they sued Nas. Or we can maybe check, but I thought they sued Nas.
Because he never actually.
I remember he was joking about. He's like, please watch my like when Montero came out. I'm pretty sure it's like, please watch this and support it. I need this to feed my my Nike like lawsuit.
No, I think if he had actually gotten sued for that amount, or he was currently in that process, he wouldn't be able to joke about it like this. Like they would advise him, they'd be like, you can't fucking do that.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine now. But it was a funny little nod to that period in his life. I think. Well, we can talk about the video, I guess, itself. The whole thing is basically him in jail, and he's dancing, and Jack Harlow helps him escape. And people are very upset by this video, just like the other one.
He doesn't miss, I'll say that much, in his videos.
Yeah.
I love them every time.
Always funny.
Yeah.
Always hilarious.
It's always a personal challenge to see how much gayer he can get it, and I just love it at this point. Like
I don't know where he goes from
here. Yeah. And the next one's definitely just going to be a gay porn at that point.
Yeah.
Singing over it.
There was no dick and butt from what I remember in this video. Maybe that's
the
nice.
shower
blurred it all out,
but it was blurred.
Well, it was blurred, but there wasn't actually any like sex going on.
There was a butt there, but it was the girl.
Oh yeah, there was a
verse came
butt.
up.
There's like nudity or blurred nudity, but
He put on Twitter, he was like, if this gets 300,000 likes or something, I'll release the uncensored version on Pornhub.
I want to see where that tweet's at.
Yeah, he put that up, and then like he retweeted it, and he was because it got the right amount, and he was like, I need to delete this tweet.
I love his Twitter so much.
Yeah,
His
so
Twitter is
he's
maybe the best thing on Twitter. Yeah, it's fucking incredible.
Oh, I love him. He his latest tweet as of recording this, which it won't be his latest tweet when this goes up, but it's like people on YouTube will see the shower scene thumbnail of Industry Baby and then act surprised and disgusted when it comes up in their reaction video.
Yeah, he's not wrong. Yeah, but that was another thing. I mean, it was just like the Montero video. People were getting upset because he was stripping and doing the stuff there, and here he's full ass naked in the shower doing a choreographed dance with a bunch of other dudes. I want to say this just from a directing perspective. This video is really well directed.
Yeah, it's really well shot.
The choreography is really good.
The only part that didn't make sense to me is Jack Harlow in the electric chair. That was the only one part. I was like, why is he in the electric chair?
I think it's just like another thing and
it was just like it was a cool scene, but it didn't make sense like in the story. But it's not like you watch a music video for the story.
I think it was nods to different prison movies. I mean, I could be totally like out of my element here, but there was a Shawshank, right, where they dug behind the poster, and then there was. I mean, this is probably a stretch, but isn't Green Mile the one? And they have like the electrocution.
Yeah, they electrocute him in that movie.
So like maybe, but that's like a stretch probably.
What I thought was going to happen was that, Jack Harlow, obviously straight, and in the video he was going to be playing someone who's straight, and then Lil Nas electrocutes him, and once he gets electrocuted, he was going to walk out of there in like a crop top and like short shorts. Like I thought it was going to like turn him gay.
Is that reverse like electroshock homotherapy or whatever the fuck?
Yeah, it's reverse conversion therapy. It makes you gay.
Oh, that would blow.
You could kind of say the whole dancing in the yard scene was almost a reference to Austin Powers too. When was it Goldmember, I think, where Dr. Evil dances with the whole prison in the courtyard.
Yeah,
that's what it reminded me of when I saw it, which made me extra happy because I love Austin Powers.
That's where I thought it was going.
Not life for us.
We're gonna get copyright stop. Fantastic video, but yeah, everyone was mad because they were like, "Oh, it's not appropriate." Blah, blah, blah. And he had really good points on his Twitter. He's like, anytime a video like this comes out with half-naked women, no one says a word. No one cares. But as soon as I do something like this, everyone flips out. And he's like, you don't hate the nudity, you hate gay people, and you just won't admit it.
Right.
Yeah. He retweeted somebody asking for the uncensored version. And this person says, what if Lil Nas X is pretending and acting all gay in his songs and music videos just for the numbers and charts, like show business? And he retweeted it and said, no, I just like dick. Nothing deep to it.
Did you see the Jack Harlow tweet that he retweeted?
No.
So
we're saying he would have been in the shower, right?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Jack Harlow was like, yeah, if we could reshoot it, he was like, I did whatever Lil Nas X said, and like if he wanted me to be in that shower scene, I would have been in it. And then Lil Nas X retweeted that and wrote back. He was like, can we reshoot this?
Yeah, we have to go back.
That would have been awesome. That's something
Nas seems like he has the most fun, and he also just has really good music. I really enjoy like all of his songs. I think that I've heard.
No, he's figured out the formula to make bangers. Like all of his songs are really, really awesome.
He does this thing where he overlays like it's like he harmonizes like his voice a couple times, and it's like that's what is super catchy.
Yeah,
his
productions are really like blown out and loud, and it's he does the same thing with his voice. Like it's really good.
I just always love too that his song Panini isn't about the sandwich, but it's about the show Chowder, and that just makes me like so happy because that was like that show that I don't think a whole lot of people watch Chowder, but I love watching after school every day, and
I love that show.
Him to be like, yeah, I'm gonna make a song about the girl Panini from the show Chowder. I'm like, you're the only person that would ever do that, and I love you for it.
But they're all named after foods. Right. Panini, Gorgonzola, Chowder.
Yeah, Chowder.
He's younger than we are, right?
He's about our age. I want to say he's like 24. 23, 24.
For some reason, I thought he was only like 21 or 22.
Let me look it up.
I thought he was really young. But yeah, regardless, I think this is like one of his best videos to date. I was laughing hysterically the entire time.
He's 22.
22. Okay. Yeah, so he's a little younger, but he definitely would be in that age range to watch that show when he was a kid.
Yeah. For sure. Have Have you guys seen Jack Harlow, like when he like I think his manager, producer, somebody interviews him and he like kind of acts gay to him? Have you seen that kind of stuff?
No, honestly, I don't know much about Jack Harlow other than like What's Poppin', Tyler Hero, but I don't know a lot of his other songs.
Yeah, I saw that they just did a Genius video, right? Didn't Nas and Jack Harlow just do a Genius with this song?
Their Genius is out, yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but I saw that it existed.
I saw a video of them performing Industry Baby at Rolling Loud, which was going on a couple of days ago.
Oh, that's cool. Do you think any Genius video will ever be better than the Zach Woods one?
No. It was Zach Fox, but no.
Zach Fox. Sorry, Zach Woods is the guy from the fucking Office. Zach Fox.
That one's really good. There's a couple funny ones. But
that, oh my god, that one. That one's so funny. I'm gonna play a little clip right here for you guys so you can listen to it. Haha, wasn't that clip funny?
I hope there's no clip there. Just a straight.
I shouldn't leave. I should put nothing in
don't
there.
Put the clip. Haha, it's so funny.
Do you guys want to talk about speaking of Rolling Loud, do you guys want to talk about the DaBaby controversy or no?
We can.
Actually, I saw that you posted it, but I didn't look into it. What was it?
So he was at Rolling Loud, and two things. One, he had Megan Thee Stallion right before him, and then he brought out Tory Lanez in like a costume, and he was like, "You'll never guess who's under here." And then, like, funny thing is, Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion, is currently like indicted or whatever under that for that shit. It's still going on. So like a lot of people were like, DaBaby brought out that to follow up Megan Thee Stallion. Like that's just like sociopathic like nonsense. Yeah. And then he also had this weird like interjection in between songs that he was basically like, none of my fans in this crowd have HIV or AIDS or anything like that, and was like, none of my fans suck dick in the parking lot or something. It was like really weird, really homophobic, just kind of weird.
You see his follow-up though, because you sent me that.
Yeah, he doubled down in his follow-up and was like, again, he said all that stuff again and was like, "Oh, I'm just getting a crowd hype. Y'all wouldn't know. Y'all aren't in this." And I was like, I don't know if that's how you can get a crowd pretty hype by like going out there and dancing and being hype. He kind of just walked and said it, and I was like, that's.
You know how DMX would hype a crowd? He'd go, "Oh, oh." That's all you needed. You don't have to say.
DaBaby could do the same thing. He's like a big dude. He could go out there. He could like dance or flex or whatever. Like be big, be loud, and.
Yeah. So his whole thing in that secondary video was bizarre because he's like, oh, none of my, I don't hate my gay fans, but none of my gay fans do that, like crazy shit about, like they're not nasty where they get AIDS or have suck each other off in the parking lot. Like it was the most bizarre shit. Like it made no sense. It was clearly extremely ignorant what he was saying. Right. But I love the fact that he just doubled down on his stupid comments. Like he was like, this is like people were like, oh, maybe it was taken out of context, and he was like, nope, I meant what I said.
Yeah, the doubling down is when you double down on that, it makes it exponentially worse. Because like, okay, you were on the concert, maybe I don't know, you were under the influence a little bit. If you have to do that to get on stage, you're trying to hype the crowd up. Maybe you have a lapse of judgment. That doubling down makes it way, way worse because you are like intentionally being that ignorant, which is just crazy to me.
And it wasn't like his second response was in the middle of a nightclub where he's screaming and yelling again, things can be taken out of context. It was like 9 a.m. in his hotel room and he's like, I don't like the gay people at my shows.
Yeah, like, he is clearly sober. It's 9 a.m. He's laying in a hotel bed and he's like, this is what I think. And it's like, wow, dude.
And Nas is performing at the same concert?
I just saw Jack Harlow. I didn't know if Lil Nas X was there or not. But
not to mention all the shit that he gets up to with ladies. This goes back to Lil Nas X's comment where it's like, it's not that you're upset with the acts, it's that you don't like gay people. and you're too afraid to admit it. And that's exactly what's happening here. It's literally the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Which that's disappointing. I like DaBaby. I don't love DaBaby, but his music is fun, and that's disappointing that he feels that way.
I do want to throw this out while we're talking about it, but people have been surfacing a lot of this was before DaBaby got really big. He basically had a failing rap career, and so to kind of get some attention or whatever, he would literally go out and wear a diaper and be like a baby to because he was like, my rap career is going nowhere, fuck it, I'm gonna do this. And so a lot of people have pictures from a couple of years ago of him just walking around in a diaper and all this shit.
Is that where he got his name?
No, actually I don't know where he got his name from, but I think it was explained, at least what I saw, that he did those I don't know what the word, I forget the word is, but publicity stunts. He did those things because of his name being DaBaby, and that's why I don't know why his name is DaBaby, but he acted like that supposedly because of his name and his rap career not taking off.
See, I wonder if he was called something else. He did that stunt. That stunt blew up, and everyone was like, "Oh, look, he looks like a baby." And then he was like, "Oh, DaBaby, that's not a bad." And then he built his career off that newfound success from his virality, I guess. Either way, shitty comments. Shouldn't have said them. I don't know what he was thinking, especially with today's climate on the people's attitude towards the homosexual community. I don't know why you would feel the need to make comments like that, but whatever, dude.
Apparently, he was formerly known as Baby Jesus before he became DaBaby. That was his previous rap name. I just found that on the wiki.
Was it Jesus with a Z?
No, it was just Baby Jesus, straight up.
Oh, okay.
He's got Baby Talk 5 in 2018. I guess that was a mixtape, maybe. Sheesh. So he's been doing this since 2014. He said he started taking it seriously in 2014. He didn't blow up until Baby on Baby in 2019. So he was for 5 years. I can see why he probably got a little discouraged.
Yeah. For anyone, let me offer this not olive branch to him, but olive branch towards the homosexual community. It doesn't matter what he says. It's shitty, but he has no power over your life or affecting decisions that would affect your lifestyle. So, shrug it off. It's fine. He does not matter in the scheme of your equality. It's, whatever he says has no bearing on your life, I promise. So, shake it off. It's all good.
There's better role models, for sure.
Yes. There are better homosexual heroes out there for you to,
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into recommendations. Chris, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so mine is, the movie hasn't come out yet, but it's called Lamb. And I'm not sure if you guys watched the trailer. I put it in our Discord earlier. I'm not going to say anything about it. I just want to recommend that you go watch it. I'm sold on the movie. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it there. It's just the word lamb, and go watch the trailer.
I saw that you put it in there, but I hadn't watched it yet, so I'm going to go do that. And then
I was playing Pokemon Unite when you posted it.
Go watch it.
Maybe we can do that. Maybe we'll talk about it next week or something. I'll be after I watch it, we can do a brief discussion or something.
It comes out this year in October, so maybe when it comes out, we'll talk about it then, or next week. It's up to you guys.
I'm going to go see The Green Knight this week. I'm really excited about that. I don't know much about it. It just looks really cool.
The only thing I've seen is the posters for it, and it does look cool, and it seems pretty hype, so I might join you.
Yeah, if we both go see that, I'd love to talk about it.
Yeah.
Joey, do you have your recommendation?
Yeah, I was going to go with a fairly silly one, but the cheese ramen that I tried recently. Try that, because it's delicious. I went to H Mart and I found some, because I wanted to get some more traditional ramen, and I saw cheese ramen, and it's some spicy cheese ramen, and it is delicious. Try it. Up your ramen game.
Do you remember the brand?
We can put a picture on screen.
Yeah,
Throw it up there. Pow! There you go. Now you can see it.
But yeah, it's delicious. It's the spice and just the cheese cuts it. It makes this really good flavor. It's got the broth in there too, and you mix in the veggies too. And it gives it really good flavor, and I really enjoy it.
It's been a long time since I've had that ramen, but I like the exact brand that you had, but it is really good from what I remember.
But yeah, ramen.
I guess mine would be really the only thing I think of right now is Mario and Rabbids. It's pretty. It's not perfect, but it is really fun, and it actually has a funny story, which I wasn't expecting. Usually Mario games or Rayman games, it's like, oh, it just puts you into it. It's like, oh, princess is captured, something's happened, go have fun. But this actually has kind of an interesting story about like this weird VR machine that can combine things. And it's got some good humor in there, so I was kind of surprised with that. But gameplay's pretty fun. I like all the puzzles, and I'm really looking forward to playing that, and then hopefully playing the new one when that comes out too. So yeah, I think that's probably gonna wrap it up for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this episode was maybe a little bit scattered in terms of the topics, but we just had a lot we wanted to talk about today. Chris, thank you for co-hosting with me like usual. Joey, thank you for being on again for the umpteenth time. We really appreciate it as well.
Of course.
And yeah, do we have any announcements maybe we want to make beforehand or anything coming out? I know we'll have the highlights for last week's episode coming out probably before this airs, and then this episode's highlights coming out the next week. But we got some other stuff cooking. But other than that, that's pretty much it right now. Bless you.
Thank you.
And on that note, we'll see you guys next week. Bye,
See you
everybody.
next week. Bye.
Bye.